Hi, everybody, and
I
welcome.
was dancing to
Hi,
the
everybody, and
tune.
welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. My wife just said this. This is the ex-Muslim call to prayer. That's true. That's exactly what this is. I'm together here with Rebecca. Rebecca, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
In preparation to this talk, I started thinking about all those memories I was suppressing all my life. I was like, should I talk about it? I'm like, no, I'm maybe not.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too traumatic if you want to talk about
Yeah,
living and growing up in Israel. But
it's not traumatic. Like the brain is amazing. Just so you know, like
it
it
is.
can suppress anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to say just I know it's amazing. I know it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like just remove stuffs from your consciousness. Hi.
Yeah, Marian said hello, Rebecca. Deanna, hey Deanna, nice to see you here. Hello, says White Lily. Uzair is here. So for those who do not know, I have been promoting Rebecca for the last few weeks and sharing her stuff. David and I met her in Israel when we went there, which feels like that was a while ago, wasn't it? Wow, we came back like 20 days ago. It's time passes very, very fast. So when we were there, we met Rebecca, who was very helpful, who helped us with a lot of things. And when I was actually on my way to meet up with Rebecca, I checked out her YouTube channel, and she had a small YouTube channel that had published a few videos, including a very long one about anti-Semitism. And as I was watching that, I was very impressed, and I thought, wow, this is really, really good and really insightful and really easy to listen to. So as soon as I met with her, I recorded something very briefly, and we talked, and I found that she had very, very interesting things to say, and I encouraged her to make videos. So it was all my idea. No, it wasn't all my idea. It was she was doing it. I just basically said, yeah, do it, and shared and all that. Anyway, so here she is, and I'm live with her, and I'm planning on doing live streams with Rebecca more often because I think she is an interesting person who has a lot to say, and so on. Was that good enough, Rebecca, or do you want me to do some more praises or something?
No, I wasn't listening at all. I was reading the chat.
Thank you. That's
I was like, my mayor was like, okay, there is no question there. I was like, about me.
complete
I was like,
honesty.
oh my god, the comments are. See, you can see it's my first live. I'm like, oh, comments. Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, look at all those comments. Look at all those
Look
texts.
at that. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I believe so. I hope your internet connection is going to work out.
Amen.
Yeah.
Today
Yes.
was fun. We had a outage.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
the power outage. Yes, that's the right word. You did help David a lot, right? When we were in Israel that one morning, I was like, I'm not going to do anything. Go with Rebecca. And you helped him film quite a few things, right?
Yeah, I was like, that video where you can see the Temple Mount, like it from the Olive Mountain. So I was like, David is tall, and we were like, okay, so we had to find somewhere we can film. So we ended up standing on a bench, and then first I stood on the rails, and then I was like, okay, and then I just held I just held like that the whole time. I was like, the whole filming, I was with my hands up. It was kind of
yeah. That's what happens when you don't have me
and
around.
then David was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, this is God telling me that I need to work out more. That's what it is.
Well, you got it. You made it work, and David was after that a little bit happy until he got
Yeah.
pissed again. Yeah. It was very quick for him to get pissed again and to just be like, "This is the worst trip in my life." So,
Why? No, I had fun.
yeah, we all had fun. So, Rebecca, you are from Israel, as far as we understand, right? I got
As
that
far as
right.
I know.
Okay, good. What are your origins? You are Jewish of which background, and so how are
So
you?
I'm
Why are you occupying this land?
first of all, I occupy it because I can occupy it, so I choose to occupy it. Second, actually, I was born in Russia. My dad is from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's family moved to Russia, before World War II and stuff, World War I, World War II. From originally like from Lithuania.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it was a good call because it was a 96% success rate for the Germans in Lithuania. So that was a good call.
Oh, you're right. There was
yeah.
there is Rebecca's very dark humor that I that I had to deal with. That was even at some points too much for me, even for me. Imagine when I was in Israel. But so yeah, in
It's okay.
Lithuania.
Nobody cries about it like my mom cries about it.
Really, she does. Does she
All the
still?
time. She says, I love you because you're my daughter, but
Oh yeah, yeah. So in Lithuania, the Nazis had a plan to exterminate basically the Jews of Europe region by region, and then mark it as Judenfrei or Judenrein, which means cleansed of Jews or free of Jews. And Lithuania was, I think, almost entirely, by their definition, cleansed. It was like 90 something percent, together with
yeah.
the other Balkan countries.
And
That's
my
so, yeah.
dad, that is from Georgia, Mountain Jews. That's right. Like my great grandparents came, like this is how they said. Yeah, I think my dad said it. Yeah, my grandparents. So they came down from the mountain, like when they were this and this old. Anyway, so they were mountain Jews, but Georgian. There, for some reason, Mr. Mustache guy decided that Georgian Jews are not Jews. I don't know, but they never reached this area. Like this is a weird story where they said it's like no, they don't count. But like the Jewish community in Georgia was extremely strong. Where my dad grew up in Kutaisi, which is on one side was the number one crime city in the whole of USSR, but on the other hand, it was the most where Jewish community was super strong. So when they communists, they managed to close up the churches in Kutaisi, but they didn't manage to close up the synagogues. And my dad would tell me as on Saturdays, they would all go with a talit outside, and a lot of people would go study in the Jewish school that weren't Jews. So it was a very different experience.
Have you ever been to Georgia yourself? Did you ever go there?
I have been, and when we went there, we went to the. By the way, we came to Israel. I was 1 year old, so. But and then it was like 2-time refugees because there was the civil war in Georgia, and then my parents flew to Russia, and then Russia collapsed. Basically, they came with just what they had on them. Lot of warm clothes, like they were so uninformed. They came in November wearing this, heavy Russian coats that they saved because they didn't realize that they're coming to a country where you don't need that kind of stuff at all. And they're like, whoa, it's so hot. But yeah, so, and then, yeah, so then the USSR collapsed, which people don't know which was a situation like when I was born, it was hunger. my parents survived day to day. Like the way they describe it is like every time that they ran out of food, out of money, some sort of miracle happened. They have crazy stories about like cooking like chicken that was off because it's the only thing that they could have gotten to eat, and like all the side effects of that. Like crazy stories. Like when I was born, and people were like looking at my parents like having a baby, and these times they were like, "Are you guys crazy? Like people are starving."
That's do you speak Russian? Do you speak Russian and Georgian, right? Do you speak both of those
I
languages?
understand some Russian, some Georgian. I mostly speak Russian. My dad, when I told my dad, "Why are you not like teaching me Georgian?" He was like, "It's useless anyway. You don't need that."
It's probably true. Yeah, who speaks Georgian anyway?
I mean, I've met like I can recall every time I heard Georgian in the streets somewhere out of like traveling. It's like every time I was like, Georgia, no.
You know what
It's
the funny
very
thing
few
is?
times.
In Turkey, so when I lived in Turkey, the only reason why people ever talked about Georgia was because Georgia was known as the place that you go gambling, or that rich people or people who have some money go across the border and go there and just go gambling. It's like the Vegas in America to Turks,
Yeah.
and then they come back losing their money after losing their money, and or losing it to criminals or whatever it is. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So listen, my parents are like they came to Israel like from hunger, and then my dad from the biggest crime city. I don't think I should even describe like what it's like, what he saw, what he had to go through, like what his day-to-day life was there. I don't know if it's like appropriate for most people to even hear what it was like.
Maybe you should
Um,
tell more, like in more detail, your life story and some of the things that maybe some people
but
shouldn't hear, but maybe should also hear to change their
but
mind.
I think it's important to understand because like when I grew up in Israel, like comparing to surviving through food shortages, like starving on one hand, and then on the other hand, like because Georgians were not starving, it's like there is a joke like you spit a seed on the ground and a tree will grow. This is how fertile Georgia is. But there were other issues, so my dad had to like fight every day basically just to make it, like physical. So growing up in Israel, it was like so there are a few explosions here and there. It's like it's like it's you cannot compare the two, which is crazy to a lot of people. But this is how I grew up. Was like I'm not hungry, like not we have food, and that like the streets are relatively safe. So I'm lucky.
The funny thing is when you say, a few explosions here and there, this sounds crazy to some people around the world who are not very familiar with Israeli life. But so when I went to Israel, I heard this quite a bit from some people when I asked about about I don't know, rockets and explosions and this and that. They were like, oh yeah, it's just we just grew up like always with rocket warnings, with seeing rockets and the Iron Dome, and occasionally bombings and attacks here and there. This is
Like
considered normal
listen,
in your life.
when my mom was in working in Dizengoff in Tel Aviv, there was a huge like bus explosion next to her, and then like she was behind. It was like this the street, and that's the building she was in, and then the glass shattered. And then she just called my dad. He was like, "I'm okay," and my dad was like, "Sure, why wouldn't you be okay?" And then the cell phone and like the cell network crashed right away after she did that. And then she was like, yeah, whatever, and like it was a huge huge like terrorist attack, like people.
Yeah.
And then now, it's like my mom is also like, my dad is a cardiologist, so they're doctor.
Yes. Yes. Your connection is kind of
Yeah,
slow, but yeah, you said your parents are both doctors, right?
yeah. So
Okay.
now
Okay.
with like the 7th of October, a lot of people were by using by their teeth. And my mom is a endodontist, like she's a dentist.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually like volunteered, but a lot of like her colleagues, one of her colleagues that was called.
Your connection is getting
Can you hear me?
bad. Yeah, your connection is getting a
Oh
little bit
no.
bad.
Really?
Rebecca has the worst internet that I have ever seen in Israel. When we were in Israel, the internet was amazing everywhere, but somehow Rebecca
100%.
has the worst
The worst.
internet. The worst internet
In Israel, like the worst
yeah,
in Israel. It's
yeah.
amazing.
It's like we went from this place to that place, and it's like high speed internet blazing. It's like we're living in the future, and then Rebecca's internet is like from 2 decades ago. I don't know.
Non-existent.
I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Anyway, yeah. So I was saying, like, a lot of people were after the 7th October attack, like almost nothing remained out of them. So a lot of them were identified by their like through dentistry, like through by like recognize their teeth. So one of my mom's patient, they couldn't identify her son, so she had to like provide all the dental information of him to find him.
Oh,
And then
okay. Yeah.
and then another one of her colleagues, so he was called to the more the where you keep, like where you bring the
morgue.
dead bodies,
Morgue.
the morgue. So he had to like is also like he had to identify people there. And it's losing connection.
You're fine. We hear you. I hear you.
Okay. So like when he was there, they brought up the bodies. So he called my mom's friend, was serving in the base that was attacked by Hamas. And he called her and he asked her, where is your daughter? Where I'm getting a lot of clients in pajamas here from your daughter's base. And she was actually in patrol in like next to Gaza, but because she was on duty, nothing happened to her.
Man. Okay, that turned really dark very quickly. How do you feel about October 7? Don't answer yet. I'm trying to. That sounds ridiculous. Obviously, everyone feels terrible about October 7. But so the October 7 attack happened. Lots of people, 1,200 people were at least killed. Many others were captured. Many others were terribly abused, and so on. Lots of people, I think, despite being used to attacks and missiles and all that, never really expected something like that to happen. Is that
I wouldn't say that I didn't expect it. I thought it's a matter of time that would happen. Yeah. But it was shocking nonetheless. Huh?
Why do you say that? Why would you say that? So why was it expected?
Because I've like Gaza were like, you remember I told you how I found out my German friend was gay. Like the way they talk, the way they say what they want to do to Jewish women, and the culture, and like hearing stories from Gaza, because things leak from there. So from time to time you get to hear Gazans speak in Israel, like they write us messages like help us messages, like describing what's going in the inside. And like if that's, and my thoughts were always like, this is how they look at Israeli women, this is what they do to their own people, what would they do to us once they get the chance? And I just knew it was a matter of time for them to get the chance, because it's a weight game, like you can, I know, like we say, lo yanu velo yishan shomer Israel, like you cannot sleep on guard, but it's almost impossible to be 100% perfect all the time. And like and the situation happened where there was an opening for that to happen, and it happened. Like I thought, okay, so it happened now. It would have happened at some point.
What were some of the things that you say about Jews or about Jewish women?
They really fantasize fetish Jewish women. Like I'd say it's a fetish.
Yeah. I'm pretty much familiar with it. I have seen so many. When October 7 happened, there were messages, there were posts on the internet, everywhere on social media. People act like now people act like it didn't happen, or we're just making it up. I still have screenshots of lots of people
when that happened, like I told you that too. Like I told you what I think people do with these videos.
Yeah, you did say that, and it was very, very messed up. But so what you are describing is that these people are basically having sex fantasies, which they always expressed, which they expressed even before October 7 and also during October 7 and after October 7. And it's very much about killing and raping and misusing and this and that. That has been around forever, and you are aware of that. Would you say the average person in Israel is also aware of that, or no?
People don't want, like a lot of people, my connection. Okay. A lot of people don't want to like think about it, because no, wait. Okay. Am I back?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So a lot of people don't want to think about it. I think a lot of people know, but it's hard. It's like mentally hard to keep it in your mind all the time. So you're like, there's always that hope that it will be a little bit better, like we see, like in Arab Israeli society, like the way they treat women got better with time. But even then, like, we have patients coming, like women, Arab women, Muslim women, that tell us horrific stories from inside the community, which the thing is, like, if they try to get out, is like the whole community comes after them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think the problem is, and why do you think they are like that?
Why are they like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there is a lack of regard to feelings, and a lot less in Israeli Arab community, but in Gaza it's super common. You marry people not with love. A side effect of that is a lot of times that fathers don't love their children, and then nobody loves nobody, so it's everybody is seen as a tool.
Oh yeah.
Like your children are tools, women are tools, other people are tools.
Yeah. Pondering Jew says, sadly, during previous Gaza wars, people said to stop killing Palestinian kids. Those same kids went on to carry out the October 7th attacks. Nothing else to add to that. Jace the Shepherd said, AP, can you speak about the situation in South Africa in regards to the presidential candidate that said he can promise he won't kill white people? I don't know very much about it. I only see videos and posts and here and there and some anecdotes. So there's not much that I can honestly say about the topic. I wouldn't want to speak about something that I'm barely informed on. Rachel here made a comment that I can't figure out. What does it say?
I think it's kind of like the order is a bit weird. I think
it's because
they try to say that tell yeah, it's like
the thing
like
the interface here messed up the text because it is in Hebrew and it can't handle Hebrew properly, so it kind of put it the other way around. But can you figure out what it says?
They're just sending love, and it's fun that it's fun. Yeah. It's like they're saying we love you, AP, and then it's nice that you can write messages in Hebrew and somebody can translate it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that. That's true. Now I can use Rebecca just for that purpose, just to tell me what this and that Arabic text says, or what this and that Arabic person, Hebrew text says, and Hebrew person says. That's the only reason why I have Rebecca here anyway. It's not like, yeah. St. Paul says, Rebecca, I'm offended you didn't put an advisory before your dark humor, LOL.
Okay.
I think he's making fun of another person who recently made a video about me and put a bunch of this video may offend you, viewer discretion is advised, and so on. I don't know if you've seen
what's the Aladdin?
yeah, the Aladdin guy. Yeah.
I told you I saw this for you, AP.
Yeah, and
yeah, I haven't commented on it.
Good. Sneed said USS Liberty incident, Love and Affair, Ramallah broadcast dancing, Israelis, King David Hotel, Samson option, White Phosphorus, crucifixion of Christ. This guy is trying to list a bunch of anti-Semitic things here in hopes to send a message and make people hate Islam. Hate, why do I say Islam? Hate Jews. And I noticed just a few things here. Like one of those is dancing Israelis. This is a reference to apparently Israeli agents that were dancing in New York when 9/11 happened. It's a conspiracy theory and a complete hoax. It's not true. Never happened. There were apparently certain Israelis who were in America for work and who overstayed their permissions that were arrested, but they had nothing at all to do with the 9/11 attacks. But these neo-Nazis have been using that as a conspiracy theory ever since, and so on. So get out of here, Sneed. Read a book. Stop trusting online memes and screenshots. Ryan Gosling says, Ed Rebecca, Shalom, Israel, love your videos. Look, you have Ryan Gosling is following you.
Yay.
Yeah. Watching your videos.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. This is the grandson of the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Amin al-Husseini. That's Ryan Gosling. Call of Ghidorah said, hello, 2 questions to AP. What do you think of the Quran burnings in Sweden, which led to the storming of the Jewish embassy in Iraq? To Jessica. Who's Jessica? How many people in Israel generally speak Yiddish? Jessica is not here, so she can't answer the question. But I would say Sweden should definitely allow more Quran burnings, and people should defy it and do the Quran burnings if they are not allowed to do it, especially then. It is a good sign of freedom and of saying F you to offensive, actually genocidal and hateful beliefs and texts. But Rebecca, how many people in Israel generally speak Yiddish?
Some ultra-Orthodox speak Yiddish, I think.
Just that population, just the ultra-Orthodox population? Others don't very much? Yeah. Okay. That's good. And finally, Single Life Good made India, Heart, Israel, and thumbs up. Nice. Okay. So let's continue. So we just landed on a very dark thing there and talked about how these people view women and how they view Israeli women and how they view their own families and all of that. Um, Here is the thing. So let me ask you this: as an Israeli, right? As somebody who grows up in Israel, as a Jewish person in Israel, uh, do Jewish people in Israel generally learn about what the other population really believes and how they are? Do Jews learn about Islam, Muslims, Muslim culture, how they think, and so on, or is this kind of not very much talked about?
Like, I learned like the 5 pillars of Islam and like basic stuff like that, and like maybe some like stories, like Arab stories more than Muslim stories. But I mean, it's like it's a good question. Like, people don't really know how much of it is out of Islam. That's for sure. I didn't know either, like until I started watching your videos. But you feel that something is wrong. Like you can tell something is wrong. I remember I was sitting with like a Muslim girl, and we were talking, and then she just said some Muslim story about like how some men went to sleep for 300 years and then everybody around him were Muslim or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told her some Jewish stories, and I saw her the look in her eyes. I was like, your stories are so different. And I was like, why? And she was like, you have women in them. And I was
Wow.
like, yeah.
Wow. That's a thing that you should make a video about, actually. You know what? You should talk about that. You should actually talk
And
about that. This is something that I mean, I only talked about this before when I talked about prophets in Islam, because there is a thing, right? Like in the Bible, in Jewish and Christian tradition and belief, you have women, you have female figures that play a role in the Bible, that were leaders, that are referred to as prophets, that participate in the stories. In Islam, you don't have them at all. There is nobody that is referred to as a prophet, no woman. These people are not acknowledged. It's very much man-centered. So that's a funny.
I'd say more like if you take like statistically, like there are way more like men, especially named men versus named women in the Bible. But the thing is, like our holidays, we have like we read we have Esther and Ruth, like 2 scrolls named after women that we read every year in 2 major holidays. And like on top of my mind, like that's the scrolls that we read, like they're about women, and like those stories are so like key in our culture. So for a Jew who grows up, like women take a lot more space than what their percentage would be like if you take it like objectively, like in the Bible, because there is like I don't know if like there is like a man equivalent like of a story, because I know Megillat Ruth, Megillat Esther, but other than that, like no, we actually don't read about any scrolls about men. Even the Agadah doesn't mention anyone basically. Like it talks like in general. So what you get is like, but yes, that Bible does have a lot of stories that involve women. The stories, the thing is like more than, there are so many stories in the Bible. It's not a small book. And then there are a lot of stories later on that were added, like, in the Talmud and things. But it also goes through a filter, right? and then through the filter that it went through the years, like the percentage of like female heroism in Judaism that is talked about is very, very high.
Mm-hmm. That is quite a difference. If you grow up with that as a woman, you have there is a role that you actually play in your culture, and there are things that you learn from your culture. There are texts, stories, and so on that you can follow. But in Muslim culture, there is no such thing. You are basically just left with the whole male aspect, and the women are basically they just exist and they just serve. That is an interesting difference.
And then like I showed you, Eshet Chayil is something that you read every Friday, the description of an ideal woman. Like it's like we sing it every Friday to celebrate the mother, like the matriarch of the house, and like the like the woman, and the kind of person that it describes is like complete opposite of the woman that is described as ideal in Muslim culture.
What is that again? That is a part of that is from the Bible.
Somebody wrote it, woman of valor. Proverbs 31.
Okay. Proverbs 31.
Somebody
that's
translates my.
That's good. That's good. That is the description of a woman. Okay. That's what you read. Yeah, you don't really have such things in Islam. You do have some things for women in Islam, like a woman must be obedient and not raise her voice and not appear arrogant, otherwise her husband might put her in her place, and she can be one of the many wives or can be taken as sex slave and so on. So it's kind of unfair to say that women don't have anything in Islam. Women do have something in Islam as well.
Exactly. So I wonder where those ideas come from.
Yeah, that's
from
true.
A religion that acknowledges that you cannot have marital relations without consent, versus a religion that allows way more than that.
That's true. So where were we? Okay, so you learned about Islam and the Muslim aspect later on. So you're saying that the average person in Israel, the average person who grows up Jewish in Israel, doesn't know much at all about the Islamic way of thinking and all that.
Yeah, but you cannot hide what you see.
But what they see, what do they think that what do they think the reason for the things that they see is? Do people learn that Islam is
honor killings?
Oh yeah, okay. Do people learn? Do Jewish people learn that Islam is a bad thing, or do they just learn that it is a regular religion and these people are just sometimes doing bad things?
It's weird. It's like, it's like you discover things as you go. There is also this thing that how much can you shock a child? Like just like you know that you need to teach a child that there are enemies out there, but how much, like, it's like it's a dilemma. You have to, as if like what happened when we were in the diaspora, like, was not enough. It's like what, like, you learn you have to fight, you have to defend, but
don't you think that is a weakness, because it kind of leads to Jewish people not really knowing what their enemy is and why they do the things that they do.
It's not like the percentage of people who don't understand who the enemy is very low. And then the difference between right and left is not the difference people think of, okay? The real difference between right and left is that the left thinks land away and that we would be strong enough to defend ourselves. The right doesn't believe that that you can do that, and it will, like, that you cannot ignore that the number of geography. The West Bank is a hill next to the where all the, like, next to Tel Aviv. It's basically you throw a rock, you hit a person kind of situation. So it's like geographic.
You're cutting out very, very badly right now. It's hard to understand some of the crucial things that you said. What you basically just said is that the left often believes that you can just give land away and then have peace and just defend yourself.
No.
The right doesn't believe in that.
Believes that.
Yeah.
The left believes that you can. The left believes that we can be strong enough to defend ourselves militaristically, no matter what. The right doesn't believe it.
Oh yeah. Okay. But even then, so what I mean is, so you said that the average Jewish person doesn't understand Islam. It doesn't understand what Islamists believe in and what they do. So, there the problem would be that
I think the biggest problem would be with the ultra Orthodox who don't understand, like they like live under a rock in a way, and it really like blows up right now. I even heard that there is a movement now of a lot of Jewish women who said we're gonna inside the ultra-Orthodox community that say they are refusing to marry ultra-Orthodox men unless they get more familiar with reality.
That's a weird thing that I heard when I went to Israel, and I didn't even think about that before, because when you are outside of Israel, you learn a lot of you hear a lot of stuff about religious Jews and non-religious Jews and ultra-Orthodox Jews and how people view the society and so on. But when I went there, I heard and realized from many people that the ultra-Orthodox population of Jews are very much kind of viewing the whole conflict peacefully and indifferently and with some ignorance that shelters them, basically.
Immense ignorance, like ignorance that in a way they went so far away from like Judaism that you can say that they're not like just as almost just like just as far as the woke people went. Like
that's so weird. It's so weird that that the ultra religious population, ultra religious people would do something.
The ultra religious, they don't even, a lot of them don't study the Bible because it's like it's a super controlled environment. They lost connection to earth and reality. It's not funny anymore, it's like you guys have to like snap out of it.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let me see. What does this say? ProNote 22 made a super chat. Do you know what this says?
Yeah, I just found that it's fun to write in Hebrew.
I'm glad you're enjoying your ability to write in Hebrew on ProNote. Thank you. And here's another super chat from ProNote.
I can also do this.
Thank you, ProNote. That was very insightful. White Lily says, wait, people from Gaza were sending help me letters to Israel. If so, more people need to know. Oh yeah. Can you explain
people
what you meant?
People won't listen. There are a lot of Gazans who that manage to escape or manage to be in a situation where they can talk about it. Nobody cares.
What exactly do they talk about, and where do they talk about that?
About how they get trained, that they have to enter open graves to practice death, the way they get abused, what happens to you if you if you show signs that you are not into slaughter, that you don't want to participate in killing, like the way, like I don't know how graphic I can go, like the way they dug up the temple. Do you think it was a humane labor? It was not.
And
But there are stories, but people don't want to hear them. People don't want to listen. Also, they are horrifying. People don't
why
want
do
to
you say
believe
people
them
wouldn't want to listen? Just because they don't want
because
to?
they don't want to. The reality is that even if I start talking, people are like, this is too much, this is too much. They don't want to hear. Like a lot of the things, like I told you, like a lot of people, like even outside, they come and say, oh, did you kill a Palestinian? And then when I try to talk about it, they will go, it's too much, I don't want to hear.
Okay, yeah. I understand. Maybe these things are these are things that more people need to know and to understand. Maybe these are things that need to be publicized more. That
they're publicized, but then they get shadow banned or just banned or removed. Israelis try to do it. Israelis are under real ban and real, like, you don't understand, like Israelis get banned from every social platform all the time, get shadow banned all the time. Israeli Arabs that escaped like the Palestinian authorities, like that try to even Iranians, Assyrians, Copts, like everything. We all get pushed down and blocked or cancel, like, or like by the media, like, by the media, like the media itself, like social media, everywhere.
That's the messed up thing. Do you
Like,
remember
how
when
do
we
you
went
even
to?
put this information out?
Do you remember when we went to the hostage forum together, to the Bring Them Back place, where both of you got very angry because of their desperate inability to deal with things? One thing they told us was that it is very difficult to get their proper message across and to keep people's attention because Jews are very few people and Israelis are very few people, and Muslims, for example, they stick together no matter what, and they are huge in numbers and they can make people believe everything, whereas Israelis just try to
And
desperately
then
speak out and can't. And and the thing is, we learn all the time that like people say dumb stuff like, "Oh, Jews control the media, Jews control the world, Jews manipulate everything." Where? Where?
they can't. They, even those Jews, like, from Syria, whatever, like, they get life threats inside TikTok. They get life friends when they work inside, like in the companies. Like, Jews are being like threatened when they work in those companies, in the BBC, everywhere. They're under threat.
Well. Bring him young, PB. Peace be upon him. Said, "Is Rebecca 3 years
am
old?
3
Does she
years
know the
old.
joke?"
I am.
You know the joke. Okay, good. Ex upper chick, that Jewish guy in the chat made a super chat. Thank you so much. Pronote22 said, "Come on, people, we need to increase the cult." Yes, Pronote says we need to increase the cult and also gifted 5 memberships to the cult. Thank you so much, Pronote. The cult will grow and we will do great things together. Max David Yermolev made a super chat. Look at this, all these Israelis giving money here and acting like they're not paying on behalf of the Mossad. Everyone knows this is Mossad paying me and you. Andreas Christensen made a super chat and said, "Heavy and sad topic. Thank you for taking it on." Yeah, and we need to do it.
By the
even
way, this
more.
is part of it. A lot of Israelis feel they capacity for it.
Can you say that again? I couldn't hear because it cut out.
I said that here's another thing. A lot of people feel like they don't have the mental capacity for it.
I understand. Too much suffering. Irit already made a super chat. Thank you so much. Sarah from Al Aqsa TV, who is now probably a full-grown terrorist, says, Aladdin, peace be upon him, just told you not to defend Israel. How dare you? Not even a trigger warning either. Now Apostate Aladdin will have to make a 10-hour long vlog. Yeah, vlog. I don't want to say anything about the guy. It's like, I almost feel bad because all the responses, it almost feels too much. I'm like, okay, guys, okay, stop beating him. But yeah, it's a funny situation. The guy basically made a live stream and then a long hit piece video against me and lied and lied and lied, and now I feel bad for him. That's how I am. Ryan Gosling said, does Rebecca have an opinion on Daniel Kikic's Talmudic tunnels theory? AP was stumped. Are you aware of that, where Daniel Kikic was talking about Talmudic tunnels? You probably missed that. Yeah, okay. Because it's something about New York. Yeah, okay. I'll fill you in on that. I'll send you that later. Gigi Ryder, Rebecca, you are wonderful. My Jew story, age 5, visiting grandma and pa. I ate so much chopped liver at Jewish club, I made myself sick. Lucky life, Zionism. Nice. That's a good life. That's a good life story. Did it happen to you too, Rebecca?
I mean,
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes. Okay, good. Max David says, a prophet, I like your amazing Turkish mustache. This is not a Turkish mustache. This is a Super Mario mustache. What are you talking about? Loney Crow says, near my kibbutz, there's an Arab village, Tira. Children used to watch slaughtering of sheep at very young age. They are less restrained from being cruel. What do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, I mean, it's also like treatment and dogs, you know.
Yeah. Human Kirk said, welcome, Rebecca. As a dhimmi, yes, it's all about Islam, and the worst affected are Muslims themselves. Islam took our advanced nations and made them become all backwards. Muslims need our help. I know that Rebecca has very strong opinions about Islam. For some reason, she's being very, very diplomatic and peaceful.
Yeah, people forget that the cradle of humanity is the Middle East.
Yes.
This is where all the good, this is where we had the first. This is where the writing system was invented, everything.
Yeah, and where the religion of peace was also invented.
And ruined everything.
Ryan Gosling says, sorry, dark joke, did Israelis ever have Gazan pen pals? I don't know if you've seen that video, but there was a Jordan Peterson's message to Muslims where he's saying, find a Jewish pen pal. And, you know,
there are not enough Jews. There are so many stories like that people like completely like change their view about Jews once they get to know one Jew super person. But like, how many Jews are there? Like, I cannot like distribute them for every idiot out there.
That's true. There should be like maybe 5 Jews for every Muslim as pen pal or so. And that's just what the Jews will be doing with their whole lives from then on. Mathieu said, AP, you are the Ataturk of YouTube atheist cobber. No, I'm not. Much love from Australia, Playa, Australia. I send love to Israel as well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mathieu. Nes Ivan says...
Where's David?
Oh, that's what that says? How do you say that?
Efa David.
Efa David. Okay, yeah, cool. Interesting. I'm going to learn to read that very soon. Snufkin says, like you, David is sleeping right now, to answer the question. So what David does is he usually stays up at night to watch over the kids. And then he goes to sleep in the morning and sleeps throughout the day and wakes up in the evening again. That's what he does. That's what they do. Snufkin says, like you, I immigrated from Turkey, but in my case to Israel. In comparison, the women in Israel are very confident. People here give women much respect. That's true from what I have seen as well. There is a thing about women in Israel that you also brought up and that I also brought up, which is that in Muslim cultures, generally, women tend to be more shy and quiet and obedient and this and that because that's how they are raised. But in Jewish culture or in Israeli culture, women are much more, I don't know, wild, independent, don't mess with me kind of people, right? I don't know if it's fair to say that, right, Rebecca? Okay, fine.
Maybe. Just self-respect,
That's true. And that's cool. That's good. Bar Mustel made a super chat in Hebrew again. Everyone is typing in Hebrew for some reason.
It's how the woman of valor starts is the first sentence.
Oh, okay, yeah. Aloni Crow said, famous woman in Bible history, Yael who killed Sisera. Irit Reddy said, I grew up in the second Intifada. I was 5 years old, seeing on the news detached limbs, exploded bodies from exploded buses. As a child, I didn't know what I was looking at. When my mom saw me, she quickly pulled me from the TV. Am Israel Chai. I remember you telling me about Intifada times. And it was very dark.
Yeah. I remember, you have to understand, it puts you like in a very weird situation. One day my mom came home. So she saw this woman, pregnant Arab woman, like with hijab and everything. And she saw like it was hot and she saw that she was struggling. So my mom opened the window and asked her if she needs a ride. And she said yes. And then she took her to wherever she needed. And when she came home, she was like, I felt so bad for her that she's like obviously very pregnant. She looks like she was struggling walking. But then the whole time I was thinking, what if she blows up somewhere? Because a lot of times they would dress up as pregnant.
Yeah, and do that. I understand.
Yeah, because that was the times, it fucks up your mind. It's like,
yeah.
Like you want, like she helped her, yeah, she did it, but like when she came home, it's like she said, like, I did it, but I felt so weird because I kept imagining that scenario. What if I'm bringing someone to somewhere?
Yeah. And you have to kind of live through those times to understand how that kind of thinking actually comes to your mind because of all the things. People who, I guess, didn't live through those times and didn't see the news at that time or didn't grow up in Israel at that time, didn't live in Israel, seem to be unaware of how reality was back then. But it was like the second Intifada was literally just, it was a war in the streets with people blown up, with buses set on fire, all kinds of different things everywhere, all over the news. And people are living their regular lives, but outside there is a bus exploding, for example.
And that's not the best part. The best part is when you read the English newspaper and it says that a Palestinian child died, and two Israelis and two Israelis. And when you get in the bottom of it, it was a Palestinian child who exploded himself at some cafe.
Mm-hmm. We even have a thing, I recently shared this, there was an Amnesty
and
International
it was
report.
happening during the Intifada, like I remember. And when 9/11 happened, I just thought maybe you'd understand how it feels like. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I recently shared
and
a
I
report
thought like maybe people would report things more fairly, but they didn't. Just like they weren't there after October 7th.
Mm-hmm. There was a thing, right? There was a report by Amnesty International in 2005 in response to the Intifada, where they reported that during the Intifada, Hamas and other Palestinian terrorist organizations were regularly using children to commit terrorist attacks, and they had a list of like just this week a 15-year-old child was carrying explosives and ammunition for a terrorist attack. Last week, a 17-year-old child did this and this and this. The week before, two 15-year-old children were again strapped with explosives and so on. This is an actual Amnesty International report from 2005. I shared it recently on Twitter. Can't put it up here again.
And that's on their side. Just those people work for them.
Yeah. So that was the reality. That was the reality back then. So the Palestinian
there were also way
movements,
younger children who did that.
Yeah, they were actively directly using children and strapping them with bombs and otherwise letting them carry ammunition or weapons to send them as terrorists. And when those children die, they would use those children to say, look, they're killing our children are dying. This is what they're doing to us. It's so messed up. And we know this, but when you put this out to the average person who is unfamiliar with the conflict, they think this is an exaggeration or it can't be real. But this is the reality. It has been reported with so much. It's the reality. Jesse says, I believe Israel could be the greatest benefit for the entire Middle East if it were not shackled by the torment imposed over the many years by the evil surrounding her borders. It's true, very much. Can you imagine how much archaeological findings, civilizational advancement, development, Israel and Egypt and Jordan and Syria all together could make if there was not this constant hate and constant fighting against the existence of Israel?
But it's not just the Arabs, it's the West. And the West encourages it and enables it, and it did it from day one.
That's true.
Those who help Israel, the reason Israel survived till now is not because of governments. It's because of individuals. Individuals who had key positions in certain places who did things against to help us.
I have this book here, which is from Einat Wolf that I recently interviewed, and it says here on the title exactly what basically Rebecca just said, barely visible. So this is called The War of Return, and it says how Western indulgence of the Palestinian dream has obstructed the path to peace. And they basically talk about the very same thing of how the West continues to indulge in these Palestinian narratives and continues to drag this war, this conflict on and on and on and on, when it could all be ended in a much better way, because the West constantly gives into these pro-Palestinian narratives against Israel. And
this narrative started in the 20s already, by the way, 1920s.
Yeah. That's the thing. The plan of the British was to establish a Jewish home in the land, and it very quickly changed because they were like, oh, the Arab population, they're not really...
There are a lot of Arab immigrants that came.
Yeah.
Just purchased the land. That's what I was telling you. So it was already happening regardless. It was Herzl that believed that you have to go the diplomatic route and actually talk to world leaders, but it was on the ground when he did that.
He wrote a book about how he was imagining this peaceful future where everyone is working together and all of that. The old new land, which is...
I think it's a different conversation we can have, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a very sweet book, but it's like so much fantasy.
About how the Zionism started and things like that, we can have
Yeah, we should. Yeah. Josiah said she's not familiar with populations in Israel, obviously very close-minded and in a small bubble.
I don't know who that person is. He writes crazy things in the comments and everybody's getting mad at him in Hebrew. And it's like, that's not Hebrew, that's Google Translate. Who are you kidding?
Warren
I don't understand. I don't understand this dude.
Varun said, once you fly eastward from Tel Aviv after long flight, the first Israel-friendly country is India. Possibly. You could say that the people of Iran are also very friendly, but the regime of Iran is not. They are the enemy.
And if you fight east and up, Georgia is pretty close and it's very friendly with Israel.
Landon Law said, AP cheating on David, atheist David Wood sleeping after taking care of the kids, Christian. Draw your own conclusions. I'm from Mossad, by the way. Oh, thank you. Say hello to my boss at Mossad. John Choi said, watching that Arab guy get manhandled by the Israeli border policewoman after calling her Sharmuta was hilarious. I know, I watched the video 5,000 times. It was so satisfying. You know which video we are talking about, right? Because I shared that with you too, where this Israeli border policewoman was. Yeah. Mela Tara made a super chat. Thank you so much. Johnny the Garingo 88 said, AP, do you think you'll have Robert Spencer on? I've been going through the Palestinian delusion and it's eye-opening. I might have him on sometime soon. Yeah. Mela Tara, how traumatic it must be to grow up this way, Israel.
I actually think that if you grow up like in a cotton box, it's more traumatic. You're like I remember my biggest shock when I was in the US. Oh, am I stuck again? Oh no.
No, you're fine. We hear you.
Okay. You weren't moving, so I was like, that when I was like in a summer camp, I didn't speak English that well, but there was a girl that her name was Sapphire. She had an Israeli mom. And I couldn't pronounce Sapphire, so I called her Sapir, and she started crying. Like she started crying so hard, they called her mom to get her. And when her mom came, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" So like, I don't know, like an Israeli would never respond like that. So who is more traumatized? I don't know. Like,
that's a good point. JB says, hello from the wannabe caliphate of Belgium. All I see in Western media is criticism of Israel and calls for a ceasefire, while people keep pretending nobody talks about Palestine. Long live Israel. That's what we see as well. And it is very much, because of the whole thing. Muslim population being very high and trying to lead the conversation and fooling people into thinking that Israel is the problem here. Israel is not the problem. Israel is the solution. Sankey made a super chat that sounds like that looks like a Hebrew translation of the hadith about the leather strap. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
This is the eyes are the leather strap of the anus. Is that what it says? Is that what that says?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. So he took that whole hadith literally and translated it. Okay, I think, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, I have the translation. Yeah,
it's so
this is
good.
what the prophet said. The eyes are the leather
it's
strap
so
of
perfect.
the
This translation is so good. It sounds so good.
Yeah, can you read it in Hebrew?
כך אמר הנביא, העיניים הן רצועות האור על פי הטבעת, וכאשר העיניים ישנות, רצועות האור מתרופפות.
Okay, that was based. Very, very nice. Okay. JB says Clementine said it's even funnier in Hebrew.
Yeah,
is it?
It is.
Yeah, it is. I bet it is.
Like, oh my god, it's like it's improved it by like 200%.
I feel so left out when people just type in Hebrew here. I don't know what Clementine here says. JB said, besides, I maintain this stash gives me Ridvan the Magnificent vibes. Oh yeah, I am the Magnificent now. I am a sultan because of this mustache. That's totally what's happening here. Yeah. Yeah, Rebecca.
It's me.
Good. Good, good. I was wondering. Um, and I'm Mario. It's me, Mario. Gigi said, AP, we need tafsir on this hadith. On the hadith about the leather strap. Well, let me explain. It's a very complicated topic. Okay, it's a very complicated topic. So the Prophet Muhammad said one day that the eyes are the leather strap of the anus, and that once when you go to sleep, the leather strap is loosened, which is why you should do your ablution washing when you wake up from sleep. What this means is, so the leather strap is what keeps the bottle sealed, and when it loosens, then the bottle starts leaking. So when you go to sleep and you shut your eyes, then the leather strap that is sealing your anus, according to Muhammad, is loosened. So when you fall asleep and you shut your eyes, it gets loosened, and you could like pass wind and do different things in your sleep. And you should always take that into consideration, always keep this in mind, which is why when you go to sleep and you wake up, since farting and other things break your ablution washing, so you're supposed to wake up and wash yourself again. That's the interpretation of this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hadith by Muhammad, which he shared with his followers because he's a great man of great wisdom.
I wish we had I wish we had greatness and wisdom like that in Judaism.
You don't see. And that's why Israel is in such a bad situation with all the conflict and all of that. This is the reason. And this is why the Islamic world is flourishing and all that. Talmudic Tunnels Construction Inc. said, thanks for the shout out earlier. Time to dig. Continue digging those tunnels. That'll be very great. Pikachu did a great tafsir too. Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? He talked about that as well. That's so stupid. It actually came up during the debate, and he actually tried to explain what that hadith means. That was quite funny. He actually took it seriously. Yeah. Rebecca, anything else?
I mean, I don't know. I can. There are many things we can talk about, but I think it was kind of heavy.
Yeah, it was kind of heavy.
That somehow the topic we chose.
Yeah, we can just cut it short here, since your internet is the worst internet ever in Israel.
I need to find a new house.
Yeah, and once they fix your internet and you finally have the same internet that the average person in Israel is using, then we could have better live streams together.
Amen. Inshallah.
Inshallah. But we also recorded something together actually when I was there, and we can still record things and publish them at some point. You have interesting stuff to say, and people should hear it and people should listen to it. I will share more of Rebecca's video so that people are exposed to her, and so that she can one day have more subscribers than I do.
Maybe I would get like the funds to get internet.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I know, right?
That would be nice. But Kathia said, AP, where did you like it better, Tel Aviv or Jerusalem? It's a tough question. I liked both of those places for different reasons. But I would say living is probably much better in Tel Aviv, and visiting much better in Jerusalem. That's how I see. Tel Aviv is a modern city and looks like a place in Europe. Jerusalem is Jerusalem, actually, West Jerusalem, the modern part of Jerusalem, also looks very, very modern, and the old city looks just old. But I don't know. Tel Aviv is like Europe. I liked it there. Yeah.
Maybe next time don't stay in Shuf.
Yeah. What do you think? What is better in your opinion, Rebecca? Tel Aviv or Jerusalem?
I think Jerusalem is special.
Yeah, it is.
But Tel Aviv has the beach, so.
Yeah, That's true. Talmudic Tunnels Construction said, thanks for the shout-out. I already read this. Quesel, in einer fremden Sprache schreiben ist gemein. Yeah, that's true. Du hast recht. Yeah, du hast recht. Yosef said, Yosef is still making dumb chats here. Merchant Rekka said, hello, Ridwan and Rebecca. Love from India. Sorry for the meager donation, Rebecca. One day I hope to work at Miskav Ladakh Hospital. Huh. That's fun. Every donation is okay. Mossad appreciates your donations. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Go find Rebecca and her channel through the link in the description. And also, actually, just if you go into the title of this live stream, she's tagged right there. So you can find her right there. You can just click on her name in the title and you will land on her page. Subscribe. She's doing very, very good stuff. I very much needed a voice. And I also just put her link in the that's funny, my chat was lagging, in the chat and pinned it. And yeah, all right, thanks everyone. Rebecca, anything else you want to say to people? See you people. Okay,
yeah, anything follow else? Me and stuff, because I say smart things when I'm after, like, you know, like the secret is to be like one shot of vodka and then you spill. Everything comes out. And after good. Like, whoa, that's truth.
Nice. So truth only bombs after vodka shots. Good. Don't do more. That's good enough.
Not like after the age of 21, I heard like.
All right. Follow Rebecca and stuff, and see you next time, everyone. And as always,
thank you. Stay away from Islam.
Yeah.